Hmm. Alrighty, so we are on Twitch, and it's saying that the FPS is really good right now. So, knock on wood, it seems like we're gonna have a really, really smooth podcast.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And then I guess once the clock strikes 5, that's when the interview will officially start. I'm just
Okay.
basically waiting for someone to come in and just give us the confirmation that the sound is good and that we both look beautiful right now.
Okay.
Yo, Unbound FGC, what's up, man? Can you confirm that the sound is good and the video's good? Simij, if you want to just say anything.
Okay. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, guys, is the sound good on both of our ends? Press 1 if the sound and video is okay for you guys, and then once the clock strikes 5 or 8. Perfect. Alrighty, guys. Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the last podcast of Krypton. I am here with a very, very special guest, the Catwoman of the world, Evo finalist, Injustice Pro Series finalist, Eleague finalist. I mean, one of the most consistent players that I've ever seen, Mr. Noble Semiij. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for, taking the time to come on the air. I mean, I know that it's insanely hard to get games with you, so I am counting my blessings that I got you on the podcast even.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. So, I mean, I don't want to waste any time, man, since we have more or less an hour, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into the questions.
Okay.
So, the first question is something I tend to ask with all of my guests because I feel like it's a really good opener. So, the first thing I want to ask you is how and why did you get into fighting games? Like, what did you see in fighting games that drew you to it so much?
Um, Basically, I like the idea of like people like characters fighting each other, and like being able to do combos and everything. So like, I just wanted to get into it because I thought it looked cool and I thought everything was cool about it. That's why I got into it.
Hmm. Before you got into fighting games, were you interested in any other games competitively, like FPSs, MOBAs, anything like that, or you just went straight into fighting games?
Probably FPSs, and then I went into fighting games.
Oh, really? What FPSs were you a huge fan of?
Um, well, at the time, like Call of Duty, um, probably I think CS:GO as well.
Call of Duty and CSGO, got it. Um, let's see. So your sound is cutting off a little bit there, Samij, so
Sure.
hmm. Let me go ahead and recall you right now just to make sure the sound is all right. So sorry about that, stream. It seems like our connection dropped the second the call started, but I'm pretty sure once I call back, it's going to be A-okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound absolutely perfect.
I don't know what happened there.
I think the Injustice Gods came and struck down upon us. So basically, you were saying that you were a big fan of Call of Duty and CS:GO, before fighting games, right?
Yes.
And then when you decided that fighting games were your calling, basically, what drew you into the NRS scene as opposed to other types of fighting games?
I just mostly I like the characters and I like, the scene more. Not saying I don't like the other scenes. I feel like um I people there was a lot of people that I met in NRS games that, helped me level up like the kinetics and everyone.
Hmm.
So it made me want to, practice more and play more competitively after I met all these people.
Right on. So was Kinetic like your first clan or team that you joined when you got into NRS fighting games?
Yeah, they were.
Right. I mean, that's like the awesome thing about online clans because when I first got into fighting games as well, I joined the Emperors,
Hmm.
and I would say that joining those kind of online clans are like the best way to like level up a lot online because it seems like you always have direct access to a lot of matchup experience, and you have a lot of access to just a lot of different, players and, all that stuff. So, I mean, would you say that Kinetic was a really, really big reason that you basically went to the next level in, being top at fighting games? Would you say it was a huge proponent to helping you out?
Yeah, it was honestly like without them, like teaching me. I didn't know frame data and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and they taught me frame data. They played with me every day. They helped me, like train and level up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think it was honestly a huge part of why I'm playing today.
Right
So I
on.
think that yeah.
Was MKX the first competitive NRS fighting game, or did you also play MK9 and the first Injustice?
Competitively, MKX was my first one. Yes.
Got it. Did you play the first Injustice like at all leading up to MKX?
I did, but not really competitively. I kind of just played it for fun.
I see. And was there any chance that you tried out Catwoman in that game, or like did you immediately jump to Catwoman in the second Injustice?
No, I played in the first one. I played Batman, but in the second one, I just jumped into Catwoman.
Right on, right on. So, I mean, speaking of Catwoman, why did you immediately gravitate towards Catwoman in the second Injustice? I know you started off with Poison Ivy as well, but what made you decide to just stick it out and main Catwoman?
I like the way she played. I think she fit my playstyle the best out of all the characters in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Thought she was a really cool character, so I just picked her up.
Got it. Would you say, as far as your playstyle goes, would you say you're more of a defensive player, a rushdown player? Like how would you describe your playstyle if someone asked you like what type of fighting game player are you?
I feel like I'm more of a rushdown player. Like I just want to be in your face and just keep you in the corner and just keep you locked down. Yeah, I would say a rushdown player.
I mean, that's how I certainly feel every time I play against you. It's like everything can be going fine against you, like when I'm trying to keep you out or zone you out or walk back, but as soon as I'm in the corner and as soon as I get like those 1-4-2s in the face or those like fucking meaty jump back twos in the face, I just see my life lead just disappear right out of nowhere. And I just think to myself, well, that's Semiij for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, speaking of Catwoman, how do you feel about the walk speed normalization they gave to her? How do you feel about the patch in relation to Catwoman?
I feel like it was a fair nerf to her. I feel like she's gonna have more bad matchups now.
Mhm.
Before like she'll probably lose like 4 or 5 more matchups because of that nerf, which is good. So
Got it. So you felt like she needed those nerfs. You felt like it was justifiable to have the walk speed toned down a little bit.
yeah, I do.
Okay. Since you said that she's going to have a few more tough matchups post-patch, what matchups do you feel are going to be tougher for her now that her walk speed is a little slower?
Basically just characters that zone her out. Like I would say Green Arrow, Doctor Fate. Um, I would say Supergirl too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Batman. I feel like would be harder.
I see.
Pretty much it.
So, since you feel like those characters are going to be harder for Catwoman, so you said Green Arrow, Supergirl, Batman, and maybe Doctor Fate, right?
Yes.
Are you thinking about probably finding a secondary character to fight against them, or are you going to try to stick it out with Catwoman like you've mostly been doing, like, for the year?
I think I'll probably try to stick it out with Catwoman, but if it doesn't work out, I'll probably look to see if I can pick up someone else.
Do you have anyone in mind going into the next patch?
Not really. Probably just like I'll play Starfire more, if anything, or Ivy. Just depends.
I mean that's what's kind of interesting is like, so most people, since I just want to ask you this because you brought up Starfire. Most people, when you ask them about Starfire nowadays, they say, oh, she's top 10, maybe top 15, solid, fair, balanced character. But, like, your opinion about Starfire is so different from what a lot of people think. Because I remember asking you a couple of times, you said Starfire has a lot of 6-4s, and she probably loses, like, no matchup besides a few. Do you still feel that way about her, that she has that strong of a matchup chart?
Yeah, I do. I think she's like next patch she'll probably be top 5.
Next patch she'll be top 5.
Mm.
So what do you see in Starfire then? That
I just
like,
think like her trait is just ridiculous. Her jump is ridiculous. Like she has probably the best zoning in the game, in my opinion.
hmm
She's just a really solid character, I think.
you think she has better zoning than like Doctor Fate, than like Deadshot?
Next patch, yeah, I think so.
Damn,
Mm.
that is a really really bold statement. Um, wow. So I would imagine that if you feel that strongly about her, that I wouldn't be surprised if you pull her out. Cause that being said, like, what's your next tournament that you're going to?
It will probably be NEC.
hmm
I'm still thinking about it, but if not, I'm probably most likely going to KIT
hmm
to be the next ones for me.
I take it you want to take a little bit of a break now that Eleague is over.
Not really. Like I was kind of waiting for this new patch, and now that's coming out in like a week, I'm gonna probably just keep training, getting ready for tournaments.
Right on. So one specific character that I wanted to ask you about is Firestorm, because speaking about this patch, one character that's been getting a lot of buzz nowadays is Firestorm, because a lot of people thought that he was a fair and balanced character, and then bam, NRS just said we're giving him a fucking full screen back 3, we're giving him a faster jump 1, and we're giving him this new special move that's basically going to make him charge his trade up.
Mm.
What do you feel about Firestorm? Do you feel that he's going to shift up the tier list, or do you think he's going to be mostly the same?
I feel like he'll definitely go up in the tier list. Like having like now that he's able to charge his trait, I feel like that's important for him because now you can play him kind of like a lame zoner.
hmm
Just just charge up. Like zone him out, get all that chip damage, and just pressure them if you need to. And I
Right.
feel like really good.
Do you think that he's going to be a problem for Catwoman post-patch, or is that just another classic 6'4 Catwoman?
I'd say it would be 5-5 probably next patch.
5'5 next patch?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of buzz about Firestorm, and I know, like, the Firestorm loyalists like Gunny, John Nitty, I'm sure they're going to have a field day as soon as the patch comes out.
Hmm.
Now, one thing that I wanted to ask you as well is, usually when I stream, a lot of people ask me, hey, Theo, how do you lab? Like, I feel like not being able to lab a lot, or for a lot of players, not being able to lab is a really big problem in making them go to the next level, making them level up. And one thing that I know about you specifically is that you're a huge fan of labbing. Like a lot of times when we're at majors and then I say, hey, Semiij, do you want to play? You're just like, no, I'll just lab. Or I'm just like, hey, Semiij, can you give me some games? No, I'm just going to go to my room and lab. So one thing that I want to ask you is, how exactly do you lab? Like, let's say you go into training mode. What exactly is your mindset when you want to, like, lab with Catwoman? Like, how do you make sure that you're having a very, very efficient time in training mode when it comes to labbing?
Basically what I do, if I'll play online, and if I struggle with a character or
hmm
like something that they're doing, I'll go to the lab and practice that situation and just see what options I have against it.
hmm
Basically, just find my best option and then use that in those situations to, hopefully do better in the matchup.
I see. So I assume that what you do is you set your AI on record, and then you basically make the AI like record the situation that was blowing you up in a regular online match, and you just look at every single option you have against it.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly.
Now, one thing that what I also wanted to ask you was, I remember when I was sitting next to you at Eleague in like that little game room that they had,
Mm.
and I saw that you were practicing poison ivy combos, like really, really high execution poison ivy combos.
Yeah.
And so what was up with that? Like, do you practice those poison ivy combos in case you need to use poison ivy in tournament, or do you practice them to keep your fingers warm? Because I noticed that's like tradition for you, like practicing poison ivy combos at any major, even if you're not going to use the character.
Um, I just like I think both. Like I use her like if I'm planning to use her, I'll
hmm
warm her up and it helps me warm up like my fingers, like because she has like so many weird inputs.
Hmm.
So I need to practice with her first. That's what I did.
So it's like, just in case you lose a match, you won't be able to OS saying, "Oh, my hands were cold, my fingers were cold."
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, the classic OS. I mean, yeah, man. I'm also a huge proponent that studying situations against characters is like the best way to be able to level up as a player. Because you can play Injustice 2, like you can play rank matches, you can play against your friends as long as you want. But if you don't lab, if you don't take the initiative to take whatever was blowing you up and labbing your options against it, you're not going to be a better player.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Like if
I
I
feel,
w-
mhm.
Oh, go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say like I feel like if you lab, it'll help you become a better player. Cause like if something's like blowing you up, right? Like say you're having trouble with something, like you just lab it and find an option for it and you're good.
Hmm.
I feel like it's just really important to lab.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, that's why at every major you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to my room and lab, whereas everyone else is trying to get games. Because I would say that out of all the players that I know, you are undoubtedly the most difficult person to get games with on any given day. And I remember you told me a long time ago, you said the best way to get games with me on PSN is to just invite me like 10 times in a row or 15 times in a row so I can see the invite.
Yeah, basically.
But I'm just like, if I keep doing that, I'm gonna look like a stalker.
No, I just feel like I don't know. Like mostly, I'm just labbing. Like most of the time, I'll just lab,
Uh-huh.
be AFK. So like, if you spam me invites, I'll, I'll get annoyed and I'll just like accept it. So that's usually what I tell people to do if they want to play me.
Oh my god, so it's like, okay, so stream chat. This is for future reference. The best way to get games with Semiij is to just annoy the hell out of him. That way he'll get games with you guys.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my god. Do you do you have like any do you have any like rule in tournaments? So what I mean by that is, let's say like someone is in your bracket at a tournament, right? Do you have a rule for how far they're supposed to be in your bracket for if you can give them games or not? Like
Uh,
let me give you an example. Like at IPS finals, like you and I were gonna fight round two, so you didn't want to play me because understandably we were fighting in round two. But like, what's basically your limit to when you can give someone games?
um, if like, well, it depends on the tournament. If it's like like a regular tournament, like how it works, like pools, and then like you go into top 32.
Uh huh.
If you're not in my pool, I'll play you.
Mhm.
On my path to like top 30, top 32 or top 16, I'll play you. So basically, like top 16, like that's where I'll play people. If
I
you
s-
understand what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, I totally get what that means. But I know that you made because I made a Twitter video on it when I kind of, I guess, blew you up a little bit. I made a Twitter video that even though you and I were totally on the other side of the bracket, you still didn't want to give anyone games that weekend. So
Yeah.
so I assume because Eleague was like the biggest tournament of the year, like money wise, you just wanted to keep yourself safe and just totally practice poison ivy combos for the whole week.
Yeah. Like for E-League, the reason I didn't play you was because like I felt like everyone had a chance to play each other at E-League,
Hmm.
and I didn't want anyone to, get a read on me like before the tournament or like learn something that I do
Hmm.
and like, study for it and prepare for it. So I just decided to lab and just try to, keep stuff secret until we play in tournament or if we have to play in tournament.
That is a really smart strategy that you're deciding to do, but I'd say just do the classic, bro. Just play whoever you want in tournament, but just don't do your staggers or don't do your godlike reads. Save those for the tournament.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what I was thinking about doing, like for the next tournaments,
Hmm.
just doing that. But I don't know.
Because like one thing that I used to do a lot with Superman, so you know how Superman is basically like a shimmy character, right? Like he gets a lot of his damage from like shimmy situations, right?
Mhm.
So what I used to like to do a lot in casuals is I used to just like to throw my opponents like over and over and over and over again. Just like throw them 30 times a match or 50 times a match or in a set. But I'll never try to like go for hard shimmies like in casual sets and always save the hard shimmies in tournament.
Mhm.
Like that's one thing I remember like I'm gonna admit that's one thing I used to do on you a lot back when we used to play Superman versus Catwoman. I used to like only focus on just throwing you in casuals, and then just like I'm just like, all right, if I fight Semiij in tournament, I'm gonna do that godlike shimmy read instead.
Yeah, that's actually super smart. I didn't think about that. That's actually super smart.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So just like don't do your staggers in casuals, bro. That's how you should do it.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'm gonna try that next time.
Oh my god, now I'm screwed though, cause that means like if you and I have a path at NEC or KIT, like I'll just know I'm not getting the 100% Semiij experience like when I play against you.
Yeah, that's actually probably what I'm gonna do next time.
Watch stream. Here's what's gonna happen. So like let's say me and Semiij like have to fight in top 16 at NEC, right? So that's like 6 or 7 matches later. I'm probably gonna go up to Semiij like at the tournament. I'm just be like, hey bro, like you're not in my pool, like can we just get some games, man? You're just gonna be like, okay, you have 2 options. Number 1, you can play my Catwoman, but I'm not gonna do any staggers on you. Or number 2, you can play my Poison Ivy.
Yeah, dude. Gotta pick.
That's messed up, bro. Um so we've already established that you basically got your name out there through NRS games, you know, MKX, Injustice 2. Do you plan on getting into any other fighting games in the future? Like, because I know that there's been a lot of hype around stuff like Dragon Ball FighterZ and stuff. Do you plan on trying to like diversify into other fighting games, or do you just want to solely focus on, you know, Injustice 2 and NRS games?
I really want to focus on Injustice 2, but I might try Dragon Ball FighterZ just to see if I like it or not. But yeah, mostly just focus on Injustice 2.
Because I know that Dragon Ball FighterZ, and correct me if I'm wrong, stream, but I think it's made by the same creators of some of the Guilty Gear games. So I take it there's going to be a little bit of like anime in the way that its fighting mechanics are. I mean, I could be wrong, but this is just what I'm theorizing. So that being said, are you personally a fan of anime games? Have you ever like dabbled into that genre?
Not really, actually. I've been wanting to, but I haven't really like tried any of them.
So if you do want to try Dragon Ball FighterZ, you're just basically going to go into it blind, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Were you a fan of like the Dragon Ball Z cartoons back in the day?
Yeah, I was.
You were? Got it. You played Melina in MKX, right?
Yeah.
Why did you get into Melina?
I just like I saw how the character was played, and I thought like she would fit my playstyle. I mean, even though she was really broken, I thought she would fit my playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought the character was super cool. Like, you know, she had like a ball roll. I thought that was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just liked the character, so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try her out, and I tried her. I thought she was.
So this is actually going to be kind of a history lesson for myself too, because I wasn't like around for most of MKX's cycle. Did you start as a Melina main from the whole way through, or did you start with someone else and then gravitate towards Melina?
I played Aaron Black at first,
Mm-hmm.
and switched to Melina
What
later on.
what variation of Aaron Black did you play?
Outlaw.
I, for the life of me, can't imagine you playing a male character if my life depends on it. Because, like, when I think of Semiij, I think of Melina, Poison Ivy, Starfire, Catwoman, and, like, any other side character you've tried against me was, like, Supergirl, like I said, Poison Ivy, Starfire, so, dude, like, I await the day that I see you play, like, a male character in tournament.
It might be soon. Who knows? Depending on this patch.
Yeah, for real. The walk speed was the only thing that Catwoman got nerfed, right? Her frame data stayed the same, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Got it. Do you because I know that you're basically, I would call you a veteran at this point because you've attended like most of the Injustice Pro Series tournaments and you've been on a lot of big stages. At this point, would you say you get tournament nerves, or are you just over that from now?
Well, at Eleague, I got a little nervous because I didn't feel as ready as I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still get nervous depending on how confident I feel in tournament.
I see.
Or how, yeah.
So the more ready you feel, the less nervous you are, and like the less. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say you because this is another like barrier of entry for a lot of players that want to be top or take it to the next level. You know how we talked about labbing and how that's something that a lot of newcomers have a lot of trouble with? I'd say something that's just as difficult is getting over tournament nerves. So what's the best advice you can give someone if they tell you, how do I get over tournament nerves?
Basically just try not to think about like the crowd or like who's watching. Just focus on how you normally play, like how comfy you are, like when you play at home. Just think about that when you're going to a tournament and just play the same way you normally play.
So
And
just basically think the crowd doesn't exist at that point?
yeah, just basically just pretend like you're playing at home and just, just relax, just feel comfy or try to feel as comfy as possible.
Got it.
Basically.
Do you always use headphones when you play in tournament, whether it's like an off-stream match or on-stream match?
If they have, yes, I do. I try to.
Got it. Is that something that helps you with, like, let's say tournament nerves or focus? Like, do you just prefer the game sound over crowd sound?
Yeah, I prefer the game sound over crowd sound. I get more nervous if I hear the crowd or hear what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I have headphones on and, just stay focused in the game and just hear the game only.
Right.
Mm.
I mean, that's kind of like so interesting to me because, like, back when 16-bit used to compete, 16-bit was huge in like MK9 and Injustice 1. He was a guy that loved crowd noises. He said that he refused to use headphones and that like crowd noises and screamings are what basically made him get stronger. It was like fuel for him in tournament. Like he basically could not tolerate headphones whatsoever. And I know Forever King, one of our current top players, he doesn't use headphones at all. So I think he's like a huge fan of crowd noises as well.
Yeah.
Would you say in the future you'd want to experiment to see if you'd prefer crowd noises more, or do you think like you're just gonna stick to being a headphone guy like forever and ever?
I've like before Injustice 2 came out, there were a few times where I didn't use headphones,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me more nervous, and I just didn't play as good as I normally do, or what I try to play like. So I feel like having headphones on just makes me more confident
That makes sense.
using them. Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of the same way too. It's like one phobia that I have is like, let's say I'm playing a hype match against someone off stream, right? And then like it's a really really clutch scenario, and then like I get them with like the last combo. If like the whole crowd behind me screams like, oh my god, like I'm scared that I'll get startled like from that and then just like drop my combo basically. Because it's like at that point you're not focused on the game sound, you're focused on how the audience is going to react to you. So I feel like that just diverts your attention like all over the place basically.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm. Do you think that there were any characters that didn't get enough buffs with this patch? Like what are your opinions on underbuffed characters?
I feel like I would have to look at the cast. Yeah, yeah, I can't really say. I don't like have the cast right now.
I can name a few. Someone that's very, very personal to me.
Oh, who? Superman?
No,
Oh no, wait, one thing. Yeah, I feel like he didn't get buffed enough,
hmm
or he didn't get buffed the right way, in my opinion. And who else?
But now before you thinking about someone else, like when you say Swamp Thing didn't get buffed the right way, if let's say you were Apollo, how would you buff Swamp Thing like the right way in your perspective?
Um, Basically, kind of what you said. Just like give him, like I know he has that move where he can get in. Like I don't know what the move is. You know which one?
Back 4-3?
Is that it? Where he goes like under and he can charge it now?
Yeah. Back 4-3. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like he needed a different thing to like a different way to get in. And like something that you said was like the armor on the EX like grab. You know that little like the guy that comes out from behind you?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. If like they gave him armor on that so he has a way to get in, that would have been really good in my opinion.
Yeah, because like I feel like it only makes sense because in my opinion there's like no real like practical use for that move besides just like swagging out your opponent basically.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a good buff, or in my opinion a better buff would have been like, so you know how his Vine Grab has like 2 hits on it, right? Like one where they grab you and the second where he like slams you on the ground.
Mm.
I feel like the best way to buff him is make it where like when he grabs you, it does like 10%, and then when he slams you on the ground, it does like 10%. So like, let's say like you do it while someone's throwing a projectile at you, at least you're like competing in the trade war, you know?
Yeah, that would be good too.
Hmm. What are your thoughts on Joker? Because I saw you were using Joker against me on stream a couple days ago.
Yeah, I think that character next patch is gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be really good.
You think so?
Mm, I
Do
do.
do you think, what do you think of Joker now?
I think he's good, but he struggles in some matchups. But I feel like him having a wake up now is gonna help him a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Damn. What about Grodd? What do you think of Grodd?
Um, I don't know. I watched the Okies play the other night on stream, and I think Grodd is really good. I think he's really good.
You think so?
Mm.
Yeah, because Grodd's like an interesting case to me, because the thing about Grodd is like, say what you want about Grodd in a long set, Grodd is kind of like Flash, where if he touches you once, it's basically like 1-0 the opponent, or like 2-0 the opponent. He just needs like one or two touches to like steal the match from you in a first to three.
Yeah.
Would you, so you wouldn't give him like any buffs? You'd say like he's fine, just keep him the way he is?
I don't know. I haven't seen him enough to like know what he really needs. I feel like, I mean, I think he's good the way he is right now. I feel like he has a lot of good tools. I just feel like it needs to be that one player that can use him at the highest potential.
Yeah, basically what that means is we have to make Okies travel more.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Or like have you pick up Grodd, bro. Have you ever thought about picking up Grodd?
Nah.
Is there like any low tier characters that you have fun with besides Joker? Like is there any like characters that you play like just for entertainment, like just for the hype of it?
Ivy.
Ivy?
Yeah.
But I thought you said Ivy was top 10.
No, she sucks.
But I remember you told me at Absolute Battle she's top 10.
No, she sucks. Ivy's she doesn't suck, but like she has like a lot of bad matchups. I feel like.
So you said that she was top 10 like end of August. And now you're saying that she sucks now. So that's like more or less 2.5 month gap. In that 2.5 months, what happened that you decided to totally like switch your opinion? Who beat you in a set? Who was the culprit?
I mean, basically, Dragon told me like there were certain matchups that she lost in,
Uh-huh.
and I played those matchups, and I saw how bad they were, and like I don't know, there's a lot of matchups she struggles in. It's just really annoying to deal with.
Wow. What are some matchups that you think she does really good in that are important matchups?
I would say, wait, this patch?
You can do post patch. Like, what do you think her good matchups are going to be post patch now that she has like a wake up?
I feel like probably, I think Harley, trying to think of the Green Arrow,
Swamp Thing,
Swamp Thing, who else?
Aquaman.
Aquaman, Batman. I feel like she'll do good now.
Uh-huh.
Deadshot will probably be 5-5.
You think so?
Yeah, with the wrist shot nerf, I feel like.
Damn.
I don't really know any others. I don't have the cast, so I can't really look. But yeah.
That's fine. I can just go off the top of my head. So going on the other end of the spectrum, since we were talking about low tier characters, going towards the top tier characters that got normalized, what characters from the top tier were you most excited for that they got normalized?
Deadshot and Batman. I feel like were the two.
But didn't you like the Deadshot matchup as Catwoman though?
I did, but I could like Deadshot being there, like how good he was. I couldn't really counterpick people with my other two characters like Poison Ivy and Starfire because Deadshot beat those two characters this patch.
Right.
Now that I feel like he got normalized, I feel like I can counterpick now my other two characters if I need to.
Right on. Now, one character that I'm pretty sure that you're really, really excited for that he got some kind of normalization was Captain Cold. Do you think that Captain Cold's normalizations are going to make that matchup easier for Catwoman now?
Yeah, dude, I think she can like probably do way better now. That matchup.
Way better as in like 5'5", 6'4" Catwoman? What do you foresee that the matchup number is going to be post-patch?
Probably it could be 6'4" Catwoman, honestly.
Damn. I mean, that's the Semiij classic, 6'4" Catwoman. Let's see, who else is there in the cast? What was your opinion on Red Hood Catwoman pre-patch?
I think it was 5'5".
You think it was 5'5"? What is your opinion on Red Hood Catwoman post-patch, or what do you predict that the matchup is going to be post-patch?
Probably 6'4" Catwoman, I think.
That makes sense.
Mm.
Do you think Catwoman is going to be the best post-patch?
No, I don't. I think Supergirl will be the best post-patch.
Supergirl?
Mm.
So if you think that Supergirl is going to be the best, is that going to gravitate you towards possibly playing the character, or do you think she doesn't fit your style?
She fits my style. I
Mhm.
feel like I don't really want to play the character or need to play the character
Mm-hmm.
because Catwoman is just, I have way more fun with Catwoman, I feel like.
Catwoman's bae, basically.
Yeah, basically.
In terms of like the player base, who would you say? Because I personally view you as like a top three player. I would say like when it comes to the top three players nowadays, it interchanges like Sonic being number one, and then like that second spot, it would interchange between like you and Dragon. Out of Since I view you so highly as a player, what other players do you think give you the most trouble nowadays? Since it's very, very rare for me to see you lose.
Um, I would say Rewind gives me a lot of trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and Illusion.
Rewind and Illusions.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that Illusions gives a lot of trouble also because you said you don't like the Green Arrow matchup.
Yeah. Mm.
Damn. And then Rewind because he plays Catwoman and Flash, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, who would you say are the most underrated players?
Um, I would say Rewind because I
Mhm.
feel like he's a really good player, but a lot of people don't know how good he is. Um, I would say Buffalo because I think he's really good.
The Sub-Zero God?
Yeah, and maybe either Atai is really good, and Oki's, yeah, Oki's really good too. I watched him play a little. He's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, man. The thing about Okies is I didn't even know about him until like a couple weeks before Last Chance Qualifier. Like throughout the whole Injustice Pro series, and I feel bad for saying this because he's such an amazing player, but I just never knew who he was. And then just out of nowhere, like the morning of Last Chance Qualifier, Dragon texted me saying, "Yo, Biohazard is in losers and Perfect Legend is in losers." And I'm just like, "Oh my god, who sent Biohazard to losers?" And he said Okies.
Mm.
I I couldn't believe it.
I
Like now,
know.
like now I believe it because I can see with my own eyes that Okies is godlike. But just just him showing what Grodd is capable of is making me have second thoughts, like on how bad the character is, basically.
Yeah, like I think he's a really solid player. I just feel like you said, I didn't know he didn't travel. I thought he traveled.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I think if he traveled more, he would be a threat. I feel like.
I think he said that he'll be at KIT. Just my memory's kind of blurry right now, but I feel like I was looking at his Twitter and then he said that he'd be at KIT. So if he is, it seems like someone is going to have to lab a lot of Grodd when they see him in his pool.
Mm.
Because that's like the scary thing about the character that he uses, and this goes for like a lot of character communities. Like for example, Okies. Let's say that you wake up tomorrow morning and then you see that Okies is in your pool for the next major, and then you know that he uses Grodd, so you're just like, oh crap, who am I supposed to play now for Grodd experience? It's like hardly anyone else plays Grodd, and that's like the same for like if you see Sonic Fox in your pool, who would you go for Red Hood experience? Hayate with Robin, it's really hard to come by Robin experience. I mean, now Han Rashid plays the character a lot more, but like there was a time where it was really hard to come across Robin experience. So I'm certainly hoping that this patch that's coming out is just going to encourage a lot more players to use these characters that have been a lot more underused before. And I mean, I'm personally really happy about the patch. I think that they did a great job overall with the patch. Have you been happy for the patch? Like, what's your overall thoughts about it?
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. I feel like a lot of characters got buffs they kind of deserved, and a
Hmm.
lot of characters got nerfs that they deserved. So I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna love the patch. I think it's good.
What is your Because I'm saying this because Eleague, which is tomorrow, isn't gonna have the patch with it. What's your predictions for Eleague? Who's gonna win?
Um, I would say either Dragon or Tekken Master.
Yeah, because Tekken Master has been playing out of his mind last week. That man was just on another level. He was streaming some games, his Batman versus my Superman, and the way that he was bodying me in that specific matchup, I said that this guy is playing like a champion. Basically, he is playing like a Super Saiyan. And what's crazy about Tekken Master 2 is that Tekken Master is all the way in Bahrain. So he said that he can't really play online much because it's really, really laggy when he needs top players to play against. And then I asked him, well, how does he practice? And he says, I just play against, I think it's his brother, and his brother just plays the entire cast.
Wow.
So it's crazy to think how someone who has that limited of resources is someone who's just as good as all our top players. It's just basically inspirational to me that no matter how limited your tools are, no matter how limited your forms of training are, just keep on grinding and never give up, basically.
Yeah, that's true. Like he's a really like honestly, he's a really solid player for like how much like if he only has one like person to play against, like and he's that good, it's insane.
I would probably imagine that he just spends an extra amount of time just like looking at footage of other players just to study what other players play like. Um, so speaking of training regimen, since we were talking about Tekken Master's training regimen, what is your training regimen like? Like how often do you play a day or a week? Talk to me.
Um, I usually try to play 8 hours a day.
Hmm.
Um, that's usually what I do. I'll like get up, I'll play a little bit, take a break, play again. But usually, yeah, just 8 hours a day.
Got it. And how do you even do that when you don't give anyone games, bro?
I I just basically lab a lot. Like I lab a lot, play like a one set or two a day,
Hmm.
and then that's it. Just like train.
Which which character matchups or which players do you play against the most?
Um, I play against Rewind and Illusions the most, and yeah, I play against like Flash, Black Adam, um, like yeah, it's basically like Flash and Black Adam and like Green Arrow.
Which is basically like 1/4 of the top 10 essentially, so you're basically in good shape.
Yeah.
I wonder, speaking about Firestorm buffs, I wonder if Gunshow is going to travel out more. Because one thing that's always like boggled my mind is how great of a player Gunshow is relative to how little he travels. Because I know when Injustice 2 first came out, he got top 8 at, I think it was like Toryukin, I think. I'm trying to think of the tournament. Like it was Toryukin or Canada Cup or something like that. He got top 8 and then he wasn't able to travel again. So now I'm basically terrified at the notion of him traveling with these Firestorm buffs because trust me, he's been popping off about the Firestorm buffs, like no doubt about that. Have you ever played Gunshow online?
I haven't, but recently I've been wanting to play him because I've been hearing like a lot of good things about him, like how good he is with Firestorm and everything,
Hmm.
and I just want to see how he plays the character. So yeah, I've been wanting to play him.
Well, better get that Firestorm experience before before NEC, man, because I feel like the Firestorm bandwagon is definitely going to have a really really high stock after,
Mm.
starting Monday. So now that we talked about Injustice this much, I want to get to know like Semiij, like besides Injustice. I want to get to know Andrew, basically.
Mm.
So I'm going to ask you a series of questions of like favorite so-and-so.
Okay.
So my first thing I want to ask you is what are your favorite games besides Injustice 2, like of all time?
Of all time, um, probably like any Sonic game, um, like any Mario game, like just any classic games, basically.
So like when you say any Sonic game, do you mean like Sonic on the Genesis, Sonic on the Dreamcast? Because there's like a trillion Sonic games out there.
Honestly, all of them. Like I love every Sonic game.
Damn.
Like,
Oh my God, that basically made me put two and two together. Your PSN icon is a Sonic icon.
yeah.
Do you have any specific Mario game that you love the most? Because I know like even with Mario, there's just so many Mario games out there.
Um, Probably either um, I don't know. It depends. There's like so many of them.
Have you played Super Mario Odyssey yet for the Switch?
Yeah, I need to get it.
Oh my God. Dude, you have to use your esports money and get a Switch like tomorrow because Super Mario Odyssey is just on another level.
Well, I need to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Favorite game console?
Hey, that's tough. Probably, I don't know, like the 64.
That
Probably.
you became my new favorite person out there. Dude, like, because you know how Nintendo has released like the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, right?
Mm.
I've always wanted to get like a Nintendo 64 just for like nostalgia's sake, so I can, play all my N64 games that I have. But one thing that I'm like super paranoid about is what if I get an N64 and then tomorrow Nintendo announces an N64 Classic.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck! Like, I spent so much money getting an N64 console, but now like, you know, they came out with an N64 Classic, which is more convenient. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food, Chick-fil-A free.
Damn. Favorite drink?
Favorite drink, like Coke.
Coke?
Probably. Coke or Pepsi.
Let's see. Do you have any favorite movie?
Not really. I don't.
Not really. Just no preference.
Yeah, no preference.
You can just say your favorite movie is like twitch.tv/NetherRealm. Let's see. What else? What other questions do I have? What is your least favorite character? What is your least favorite character to fight against in Injustice 2?
Fight against Green Arrow.
Green Arrow? Oh my God. Were you kind of emo that they didn't nerf Savage Blast?
Yeah.
I actually think Green Arrow is gonna be like that one character that could secretly like sneak into the top 5 like post patch.
Mhm.
Do you think he could be top 5 post patch?
I think, like you said, he could sneak into top 5. He'll probably be right outside top 5. I think.
Yeah, you think so? Because I feel like because what would be Green Arrow's losing matchup post patch anyway? I still think he would lose to like Dr. Fate. He would probably lose to like. I mean, I think he loses to Superman in my opinion. I wonder if he'd still lose to Deadshot. Do you think he'd still lose to Deadshot?
No, I think he could beat Deadshot now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Probably like I would say, like Black Adam as well, Cyborg. That's probably it. Those 4.
What's your opinion on Cyborg? Do you think he got enough buffs, or do you think he needed more?
I think he needed more.
You think the wake up isn't enough for him?
It's good, but I don't know if it's enough. Yeah.
Because that's like the thing that scares me about Cyborg too. It's like, where do you draw the line between if he's too OP or he's not OP enough? Because I feel like he's that kind of character that's just, you have to be super duper careful against buffing because his zoning at its core is really good. Like if you give him a matchup he wins, he's like really, really oppressive. But it's like if you buff him the wrong way, then he could just like be super duper dominant. Because this is also kind of a history lesson in Injustice 1. Back when Injustice 1 first came out, people thought Cyborg was like top 3 in the game basically. And the reason why they thought that is because I can't remember who it was that made the discovery, but when Cyborg does his Nova Blast like lowest to the ground, and he keeps on doing the Nova Blast like lowest to the ground, it's basically like a block infinite. Because it's like, it's a mid, and it's plus. So it's like you just have to duck and keep on taking the Nova Blast. So because of that, they thought that he was a top 3 character.
Wow.
Now, when they nerfed that about him, and they took that away from him, just like in this game, everyone thought he was bottom 5 free.
Mm.
So that basically goes to show like how volatile of a character Cyborg is on the tier list, where you just give him one thing or you take away one thing, he can either be the worst or the best.
Mm.
So this is another if you were Apollo question. If you were Apollo, what additional buff would you give Cyborg and still assure that he's not broke, basically?
I actually really don't know for that one. Like, I don't know, because like if you give him something, he'll be, like you said, too good. But like if you take away something, he'll be bad. So I really don't know.
It seems to me that like he's just meant to be that like hard counter utility character, basically.
Yeah.
Like he's meant to be that character where if you're up 2-1 in tournament and your opponent makes it 2-2, you just go to Cyborg and just like clean house, basically. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Swamp Thing versus Cyborg is like the worst matchup in fighting game history. Like give me any fighting game, and I'll still try to make a case in Supreme Court that Swamp Thing versus Cyborg is like a worse matchup than whatever matchup they give to me. I know I'm being biased because I really love Swamp Thing, but I'm just saying, bro. Like when you fight that character with Swamp Thing, he is like the most broken thing in like fighting game history.
So do you think it's worse than that matchup in Injustice 1? I forgot what matchup it was. It was like Cyborg versus, I think, Lex, was it?
Zod versus Lex. Zod
Or
versus...
Zod, Lex, sorry, yeah, Zod versus Lex. Do you think it's worse than that?
Okay, it's this. Okay, Cyborg versus Swamp Thing is the second worst matchup ever. Zod versus Lex being the first worst matchup because yeah, Zod versus Lex. Revolver was right. Basically, like Zod block infinited Lex. Basically, like he couldn't move against the character. But I don't know, bro. I'm just saying Swamp Thing versus Cyborg is bad, just so I can like convince Paulo to give me some more buffs. I'm just saying, man. Armor on Vine Grab on Startup, without the trait. Come on, man.
That would be so good, actually. That would be really good.
Do I have to like write a letter to Ed Boon or something?
Right.
Let's see, what other questions do I have for you? I think this is the perfect time that I can have the stream ask you some questions. So stream chat, go ahead and give me some questions to ask Semiij, and I will pick out some questions to ask for him. So pretty much go at it. And in that time, I'll just go ahead and cry about Swamp Thing to you. Let's see. Okay. So Yo Alma Prince is asking you, how would you buff Ivy?
Oh, that's tough. How to buff Ivy? Let's see. Just give her like a way to stop like characters that, you know, control the air or who can stay in the air, like Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Like give her an option to. I don't know what they would give her. Just something for those types of characters.
I would imagine just like the best way to remedy that problem, because I know that Superman versus Ivy is a really good matchup for Superman. Maybe like make the Vine Drill like have a better vertical hitbox, or just give her a good anti-air, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Rad G17 is asking MKX or Injustice 2?
Injustice 2, I feel like.
Oh, right on. Why?
I feel like you in this game you have more options compared to MKX. Like in Injustice 2 you have like a lot of offensive options, you have a lot of defensive options. So it's a good balance.
Right on. Right on. Josh Neal 7 is asking, is Flash broke?
He's broke, but he sucks. I don't know how to explain it.
Broke, but he's... I'm so dumb,
Like,
dude.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, he's like the best like character that's outside of top 10. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
I think the best way to articulate that is like in a long set he's bearable, but in like a 1st to 3, like it's all fun and games until he launches you, basically. So
yeah,
so I kind of see what you mean. I feel like with Flash, his tools are a lot better than his matchup chart, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So Austin21 is asking, who do you think is going to be the worst character post-patch?
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing?
Mm.
Foxy Grandpa is asking, why does Deadshot lose 9-1 to Catwoman? I'm just kidding. He's just saying, what options does Deadshot have versus Catwoman? Post-patch, I guess.
None.
Wow, that sucks. Do you really think Catwoman's going to beat Deadshot that bad post-patch?
Yeah, like you can get in on him probably pretty easy now.
Yeah, dude. Let's see. So Stodex is asking, is it tough for you to be a loyalist or, mostly a loyalist to your character? Like, do you think that's been detrimental to your tournament play, or has it been fine for you?
Um, yeah, I feel like being a loyalist is it's bad. Like, I don't think it's good to be a loyalist, especially like what's on the line and like how the game is made. I feel like you need to have, like a secondary, like a good counter pick. So yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like it's hurting me in the long run.
I see. And that's why you want to diversify your arsenal post-patch, right?
Yes.
Got it. So Shayon26 is asking, who's the best down player in the NRS scene?
The best down player.
You can name a few if you want.
It's between
I'm looking at you.
it's
I'm
between
looking at you right now.
it's between Cowboy
Uh-huh.
and Honeybee.
But you just said Flash sucks.
I mean, I don't know how to explain Flash. Like, he sucks. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he's good. He's really good, but like you said, like in a first to three format.
Right, and Honeybee thinks he's like worse than you saying he sucks, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
He's pretty good. Like, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think Flash is pretty good too. RetroTech7 is asking, how would you nerf Supergirl?
I I really don't know. Probably like change something with her breath or change meter burn laser. I don't know.
Like make the laser do less chip or less damage, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense. So Dizzy TT is asking, how is it that you play Catwoman and you don't feel bad for your opponent?
Because um I love the character.
Damn. So it's like, let's say you play someone in tournament, like at EVO next year, and then it's the matchup is Catwoman versus Swamp Thing. Wouldn't you at least be like, yo, sorry, bro. Like, sorry about this matchup? Or would you just be cold and heartless?
I would probably be sorry if the matchup sucked.
Yeah, bro. Like, what if you're fighting like a Swamp Thing for losers top 8, and you just like totally crush their dreams for an EVO medal? Like, at least say sorry for the matchup.
I would feel so bad. That 8-2 matchup.
I know, right? Oh, you said it's 8-2. You're the best person on the planet.
Basically.
Like, I remember at Eleague, I wanted to try that matchup against you, and I was delusional in thinking like Swamp Thing could fight the character, but then you basically showed me that Catwoman just low profiles everything, essentially.
Yeah.
All right, man. So it is getting close to the hour. So the last thing I want to wrap this up with, Semiij, is do you have any shoutouts that you want to give, man?
Um, just yeah, shout out to my sponsor Noble for sending me out to all these events, helping me travel. Like without them, I wouldn't be able to make it out to all these tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Rewind and Illusions for always training with me and helping me learn different matchups and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And to all the people I play. Shout out to you for having me on here.
You're very welcome, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. That wraps up episode 3 with Noble Semiij. So, as always, I will go ahead and upload this on YouTube by either tonight or tomorrow morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And of course, Semiij, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. And yeah, guys, so next week, 8 p.m. Eastern is going to be the next episode. See you guys later. Theo out.